Dr. Pete says, in the early 1950s, there were studies showing that pregnenolone is much better than cortisone or cortisol for the uses those have, anti-inflammatory and so on. But its role in the system makes it even better than progesterone. Progesterone cures essentially everything, trauma, all of the degenerative and stress-related diseases.
Okay, so that is a hell of a claim, or several claims there. So first of all, the fact that pregnenolone is actually better as an anti-inflammatory than cortisol or cortisone, right? Which is still widely used for that purpose up until this day. When we say that people are using steroid anti-inflammatories, that's actually what we're talking about. In fact, it's so common that, of course, the other type of anti-inflammatories are called NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, to distinguish them. So the fact that pregnenolone could work better than cortisol is quite a big thing, given that very high doses of pregnenolone seem to be much, much, much safer than very high doses of cortisol. So that's interesting. But probably the most interesting claim that he makes there is that progesterone cures essentially everything. But yeah, I'll let you carry on the quote, but I just wanted to highlight, if that's true, interesting the implications that might have. And again, this is not something that he, was a casual enthusiast of. This is one of the main things that he studied and taught about progesterone and pregnenolone.
It's definitely worth looking into deeper, for sure.
Now, at least in the US, both pregnenolone and progesterone are not sold as a prescription drug. And I believe this is the main reason why, because it's completely safe to take them in the sense that your body's not going to downregulate its own production. So first of all, we said cures essentially everything. Then we said basically completely safe. No harm in overdoing it, no harm in your body forgetting how to make its own. And in fact, the opposite, he says that when you add them in, it actually helps your body to make its own in future.
Yeah, no, this is really, really interesting. So I'll carry on with what he said. So if you're deficient in progesterone, sometimes a single dose or two can activate your body to return to normal production if you have the thyroid and cholesterol needed. And yeah, don't do that. He carries on. And since it isn't patentable, those three steroids are something that it's just a matter of the cost of producing them and marketing them. They could essentially cure most of the current diseases if they were made available massively and cheaply. But that doesn't interest the drug companies because they don't have patents.
So there we're getting a bit conspiratorial, right? But there is a lot of evidence to support this perspective. And again, I don't encourage anyone to believe us or believe Ray Pete, but just look up the benefits that these things have. There is some misinformation in this regard, like progesterone. If you look up progesterone, you'll see like a lot of negative things attributed to it, but it seems like most of the negative things that are attributed to progesterone are actually relating to synthetic progesterone, which is not the same. So when you're looking up all of these things, especially progesterone, you want to look at the bioidentical form. That's not always made clear in the studies. It is almost tempting to get a little bit conspiratorial when you look into this. He's right that it's literally the cure of most of the current diseases, and that the only reason that it's not used is because it's so cheap and not patentable. This is Elwyn Robinson, and that was a clip from the Rejuvenate podcast. Remember to share this clip, like and subscribe, and you can watch full new episodes by subscribing to my YouTube channel or Rumble channel, or by subscribing to the Rejuvenate podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.